Dice Tower People's Choice Top 100 Games of All Time. Dice Tower People's Choice Top 100 Games of All Time.
Huzzah! The top 10 games of all time.
Bringing it home.
From the people, by the people, and for the people.
Through the people.
Well, I was like, isn't that
Next to the people, while the people watch.
All right, well, you hopefully are watching. And will pandemic be on the list? Will it be number one?
Is that the question everybody's waiting for? I don't think so.
I don't think that's the question. I think the people are curious. Well, we'll see. I guess, spoilers is that there's really nothing that really is shocking about this top 10.
At this point, nothing's going to come out of left field and go, that's going to make anyone go, that's on the list? Oh no! Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it is interesting. This is, to me, the beginning of a trend. We'll start seeing, will some of these games slowly fall off, or will some of these games go higher? I don't know. Well, we'll find out. Well, let's get started with number 10.
Number 10, Power Grid.
Number 10 is one of the two heavy Euro games on the list, and that would be Power Grid.
Spoiler!
Well, no, I mean, it's really heavy.
Oh.
No. Well, this one's heavy because I have 3 maps in here and a whole bunch of extra pieces. And the thing is, I have like 3 of the 15 different maps for Power Grid.
Yeah? You have the robots?
No.
Robots?
I'm not a huge fan of solitaire stuff, so I mean, if I want to play against a robot, I have computers over there.
Well, that one, it's not solitaire quite. It
adds
play
a
with 2 or 3, right? Well,
dummy player type thing. But still, if I have 2 people, I have a load of 2-player games. So anyhow, Power Grid is on the list because it's just a very strong Euro game. I mean, it's been on my top 100 list for a long time. It was my number 67.
Yeah.
So you guys like it 57 more ranks than I do.
And I like it quite a bit as well. It's probably on my top 100 as well. But
it's unusual for you because you don't normally like heavy Euro games.
That's true. But I do like connection games. I do like the maneuvering in this game is kind of what does it for me. The playing with the market, that figuring out exactly how much money you need. There is head-to-head competition in this game.
Yeah, a lot,
I find
actually.
Missing from other Euros that might have that money management or resource cubes or whatever. So
you got to be able to kind of to work on the fly too. If I see he's doing all the garbage, then I should probably, if I have a garbage factory, it's time to let that go and go for whatever else.
Snatch something else up. Yep.
And how much are you going to make someone pay for that wind power?
Yep.
Because that's a big deal. So a lot of fun, and I can see why people like it. Power Grid.
Number 9, Race for the Galaxy.
This one came to be the exact same rank as last year, 9 and 9.
Wow.
This one is almost a bit of a surprise to me, though. I know people loved it when it came out. Everybody played Race for the Galaxy all the time. But then I thought the deck building genre came out.
Yeah.
And once that came out, at least in my playing groups, I almost never see this being played. When's the last time you saw it being played?
The last time I saw it being played was the last time I played it, and that was probably 3 months ago or so. Yeah.
Well, it's not that long ago, but but I mean, still, I mean, it's being. I guess it's being played. It just. I guess it has a very strong strength of the game. It's certainly, there's some people who hate it because of all the iconography and
right.
And it really, even though it is a card game, if you are better, if I played someone who was new, I would crush him.
Oh,
I know
absolutely.
I would.
There's no question.
Because I know I played against the computer version, and I feel like I'm pretty good, and I get destroyed. I'm pretty sure the computer cheats.
It cheats.
I'm pretty sure.
When you log in and you put a T Vassal, it goes, ha ha! I have you now, Vassal.
Yeah.
I will draw everything you need and use it as resources. I really like this game. This is probably this is easily one of my top 3 card games.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you like it best with 2 players or with 4?
It doesn't make a big difference to me, actually.
Well, with 2 players, it has a different feel because you're playing 2.
It does, and I like that version also. I like both, probably equally. I like playing the solitaire game, too. It's not too bad. With the robot that, you roll the dice for the would-be player.
Oh, I hate it.
That's cool as well. I like it. I think deck building games have nothing on this game.
Really?
None of them.
Wow. Well, here's one of the things that I found with this game is it produces some of the snobbiest gamers I've ever met. Because a guy would be like, oh, we play Race for the Galaxy. Have you played before? How many times?
When people start dropping the names of the cards, that's when you know, whoa.
Here's my resume, may I play the game?
Right. It's like, oh, I'm going to play the Imperium so-and-so.
Oh.
It's like, oh, I better look at the card because I don't know what that means.
Well, real quick question. What do you think about I know you said you like that Solitaire expansion. What do you think about, like, the War expansion
I dislike it. It's the only expansion I don't own. And the second expansion had about 6 cards with that symbol.
Right.
And I took them out.
Okay. I'm with you there. Did you like the Money Waster expansion where you bought a whole bunch of blank cards? That was the first expansion.
Yeah. But,
okay.
Hey, do our job expansion.
But there is a lot of great cards for the game, and they're supposed to be releasing a second series of expansions. And
right.
I thought that was supposed to be out like 3 or 4 months ago.
Let's go.
Kickstarter.
Let's go.
It's Kickstarter's fault. Kickstarter and Will Wheaton. So, all right. Moving on to number 8.
Number 8, Small World.
It's a world of laughter, a world of tears. I finally went and saw Small World this year for the very first time. The ride.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't as...
There were not as many elves as I thought there would be.
It wasn't as...
Where are the undead?
I'm expecting to see battles break out. When this game came out, they made a really big deal about it before it came out. Remember?
Big splash.
Well, before it came out, they left all these clues. They showed a big footprint,
yes,
and we thought, is it a game about giants? What is this game? Is it a huge game?
That's right.
And then when Small World, they're like, it's a retheming of Vinci, and I was like, oh, really? Okay. But then I played it, and it was
it was
spot on.
A heck of a retheme.
Wow.
That's the way to do a retheme, right? Everything got cleaned over, all the powers now made sense. The game was more accessible. And some people I know say, Vinci or however you want to pronounce it is a better game.
Oh, I mean, that's fine. Some people like that one better, but I don't understand how you can think that's better.
I don't know about that. Yeah, this was an excellent spin on an older game. And you wouldn't be able to tell at all that it is based on something older from playing it today. This game has...
No, it feels like it's a brand new game.
Like it just came out. It's excellent. It plays very easily, but gives you tons of flavor, lots of theme. You can get people into it quickly. This is a great game.
It jumped up from number 12 to number 8, which, I mean, when you're talking about top 10, these are some pretty big jumps, really. And I think that's because they came out with a Small World Underground, and the game, which was a accessible game that you could play outside of... You didn't need Small World for it, and then you can mix them.
Right, well, and it's been supported quite well. It has all the expansions that came out. They just came out with that Realms one, where you build your own map.
Which I think is actually, while it's a fun expansion, it's not as accessible as the other ones because it takes so long to set up the stuff.
Yeah.
But it lets you take it to a deeper level if you want. So anyhow, it's a lot of fun, and works really well. It's one of the few games that I think works just as well with 2 players as it does with 5.
I like it with more players myself. I'd rather play something else with 2 or 3. But as a 4 or 5 player game, awesome.
Was there any doubt that this would be on the list? Actually, I might have doubted that it would hit the top 10 because now the game is getting close to 20 years old.
I doubted this would be on the list. I figured it would be Star Trek Catan now. Settlers. What's that?
Well, you talked about the last game, Small World, where they support it. You talk about a company supporting a game.
Oh.
Mayfair supports this. Every year, tournaments all over the nation, all over the world, annual tournaments, giant settlers this, settlers that. I mean, they refuse to let it fall out of your subconscious. In case you forget, you turn around a corner and there's a billboard for Settlers or something. I mean, it's one of the few games, and it made it on The Big Bang Theory. It made it on other shows that I know of. I mean, it's kind of almost in the American subconscious now.
It is. I think this now has finally... I've met people who are not what I would call a gamer. Who say, you know, I'll ask, oh, do you play games? Have you played a game? Oh, yeah, we love Risk and this and that. And Settlers.
Of course, people always say, and there's this game that you probably never heard of called Settlers. They always say that to me.
Maybe, yeah. But I think it does have now that it's broken through.
Yeah.
You know, when you walk into Toys R Us and Target and they both have it on the shelves, I think you know.
Yeah, and I think they're shooting for Walmart now with that new simple version of Catan and stuff. And I mean, I think that this is, you know, it's not my first choice for the game that I would have everybody play in the world, but it's a very good one. And I'm not really surprised that it's on the list.
Number 6, Carcassonne.
This one I'm more surprised about. Not because I don't think it's accessible, but I would think in a fist fight amongst popularity, Settlers would beat Carcassonne.
I would think so too. You're right. Yeah, I would expect these two at the very least to swap places. You know, Carcassonne is newer. If I'm not, it's much newer. What 2001?
Yeah, it was 2001. Settlers was 95.
Yeah, but talk about support again here. You know. I mean, how many expansions, how many retweaks and rethemes?
But you know what, though? That's not necessarily as much support, though. You don't go over the world seeing giant Carcassonne tournaments. It's not. It doesn't lend itself to that tournament play as much. It's more of a casual game, and even the farming scoring can throw people off.
Right.
That's why I'm surprised. I mean, I think it's a great game. I'm just surprised that it was, you know, it's number 6.
Yeah, that's true. I am surprised to see it that high. I'd expected somewhere in the top 30. I don't know about... What is it? What number?
Number
is it?
6.
6.
That's pretty high.
That's really high.
But I mean, it's good to show for all those people who like to sit out there and write their little internet. Carcassonne has jumped the shark. No one likes Carcassonne anymore.
I think this is.
Ha! You're wrong.
This is all due to the catapult effect.
The catapult effect. Let me write that down because I need to keep track of all these effects that we've been adding. The catapult effect. All right.
And hate mail too.
Number 5, Pandemic.
Sorry, sir. It only made.
It's my baby.
It only made number 5.
What?
They seriously should have made a bigger box out.
This isn't one?
No. All right. Well, look, you got to admit that the box for this, when you add the expansion, should have been bigger.
Yeah.
I can barely get everything in here.
You know what I had to do? I have the expansion. I have the game. Obviously, I had to stop using the little the petri dishes. Oh, that hurt. I love those.
Why? You can fit them in. You have to really.
Not with everything. I could not figure it out.
How did I do it?
You only have the petri dishes. There's no cards in this. There are no cards in this box.
Oh, that's right. I took the cards. I put them in a different container.
You do have the cool, funky little things, though.
Oh yeah, the pieces from Litco,
Anyway,
the new
Pandemic
viruses.
is an awesome co-op game. This co-op game, if I'm not mistaken, is the one that... I mean, there were earlier co-op games, but this was the one that made a big hoopla about co-op games again, wouldn't you say?
Well, maybe. Shadows is pretty close. Shadows over Camelot.
Between Shadows and this game...
Yeah, when this one came out, it was the in thing to do
It
now.
was this and Ghost Stories hit right then and there. And, I mean, there were several games that came out boom, boom, boom. And it was co-op season for a while.
Yeah, but this is the one that people are still playing.
Yeah.
This one is the one people talk about all the time. This one has a chance to make it into like the stores like Settlers, I think. And it I mean, honestly, it beat Carcassonne and Settlers, which is pretty impressive. Yeah. So
you think the theme's not too in your face, maybe, to make it into, say, a Target or a Toys R Us?
I think, I mean, to me, one of the reasons I like Pandemic is because of that theme. The fact that it's a theme where, you know, some people, I don't like fantasy, or I don't like boring merchants from the Middle Ages.
Sure.
But who's going to say, I don't think you kids should be playing a game about saving the world? I mean, it makes sense. It's something that we, especially Did this come out in the craze of the swine flu? It might have.
This was earlier than that.
It was it? What about the chicken? The chicken thingamabobber. But either way, since those things happen, that keeps that in your mind.
Yeah.
And so, but not to mention, it's a really fun game.
But it grabs you. That theme also helps grab you. It's like, okay, oh god, we have to save the world. Everybody's gonna die. Look at Asia. No, go over here, do that. Yeah, it's great. Again, I've taught this game to a lot of people who I would not consider gamers. Everybody gets it. Everybody loves it. You always have tense games. I have end games for me for this are always, you have to figure out, okay, we have 3 turns left, and we have to do this, you're going to do that, and then there's always that moment at the end of the game where you stop, everybody kind of plants and goes, wait, but if we do that, we won't have time. Okay, what about this? Oh, I know, I'll discard this card. You switch your power, then you're the medic. Now you jump in there. It's just great. It's like figuring out a puzzle, but it's really thematic. It just hits all the right spots for me.
All right. Easy enough. Not number 1, but pretty close. Pandemic.
4. Ticket to Ride.
The game that I had no doubt would make the list. Ticket to Ride. Although this is Ticket to Ride Nordic countries.
Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride.
US, the regular one.
We already had Ticket to Ride Europe on here.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think some people just vote for Ticket to Ride as a set. I would. When I do my Ticket to Ride to my list, I don't sit there and go, well, Ticket to Ride Nordic. One is the same as the other.
I don't know about that. I might say that for Carcassonne, maybe. Because I know some people like Carcassonne the Castle. And yes, those are more different than the Ticket to Rides.
So I just throw them all in the same bucket. Anyway, well, this is all mine. I have all mine in 3 boxes, so I don't even have the original box because we beat it up so much. But Ticket to Ride, to me, it is the definitive gateway game in existence. But it's more than a gateway game. It's a gateway game that if I said this in my top 10, that if I'm playing against people who know what they're doing, we can have this really good strategic game. But I can also play it with my parents. I can also play it with new people, and it works in every situation.
Yes.
It was number 6 on my list, so pretty close. I really like Ticket to Ride.
Right.
So
Yeah, for me,
so you guys and I were on the same wavelength here.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely in that short list of games to show somebody when you're showing them games for the first time. I myself have had, or might either lean towards or have had more success with Pandemic because it's easier to get people into a co-op game because I can teach and play.
Right, because they don't feel like you're like, oh, you're gonna win because you're
like, here's the game. Now we'll crush you. It's like we're working together. Okay, it's all right. We'll take it slow, but
wait, I'm the traitor. I'm actually spreading the disease.
But yeah, I mean, just this game needs to be on everybody's shelf.
I think so, but we're starting to see this show up in more and more stores. They've sold millions of copies, I think, at this point. So I don't know. I saw Alan Moon driving around in a gold limousine, so I mean, must be doing something right.
Ticket to Ride Gold.
Number 3, Agricola.
And the second heavy Euro game in the top 10 is Agricola.
You're not kidding. What's in here?
No.
What's in?
Oh, look. Sorry, here's the rest of it.
Oh, really?
Those are all the cards.
Wow. What is this? You got all sorts of crazy wooden little guys, and is that family members?
Yes. See, you would like the game more with this because I've really tricked it out. Look at this.
This is awesome.
There's wood. Oh wait, what did I want to show you? That. Look at these.
What are those?
Stones.
Real rocks? What are they for?
For the stone.
We have to play this right now. I so want to play now.
To me, I like this game because it allows you to really trick things. I guess you could do that with a lot of games.
In this game you have to if you want to have some kind of fun.
No, when this game came out, this was the first. This is like the grandfather of Kickstarter. Because when this came out, Zev said from Z-Man Games,
yeah,
I want to bring this to America. Yeah, not you. Zev said that he wanted to bring this to America, but he needed pre-orders to see if it would happen. He needed 500 pre-orders. And it was like, Everyone just pre-ordered it because they were so excited about it. And then he threw in the extra anim meeples if you pre-ordered it. Otherwise, you got stuck with the cubes.
Right.
And that was a special thing you got if you pre-ordered it. Now...
And then eventually they sold baggies of stuff.
Oh,
right?
I went to the store. I was at the local gaming store this past Saturday, and they had a whole, goodies expansion where a lot of the stuff that's in this box.
Yes.
And there's people who are making a living selling upgrades to this game, I think.
Well, the thing that I remember the most before I ever played it, obviously the buzz was insane buzz. And then I remember it got picked up here in the U.S. by Z-Man. And I just remember the first time I heard it, the game was going to be $70. If I'm not mistaken, it's $70.
It was pretty expensive.
What? $70? Why? Games were like $50. That was about the norm. Maybe now it's $60. Then it was like $50. So it blew my mind. I'm like, whoa.
That doesn't even... I don't think that would even faze me anymore to hear a game 70.
70 is kind of commonplace now. But back then, that was quite a bit. Anyway, I've played several times. I'm not a fan of the game. I'm a fan of the card ideas, which is actually one of the things that really bothered me about the two-player game, is that I wish if they had cut one thing to simplify, it had not been the cards. I wish it would have been about the cards and less about little fences. You know what I mean?
But you like the two-player game.
No, not really. I mean, I like it better than this. That's faster.
Yeah, well...
I wish it had been about the cards, because that's the one thing I really like about the game, is the card, how they interact,
Well, I like everything, and obviously most people do, because it did go to number 3. It was number 2 last year, but big deal.
Yeah, this was definitely not a flash in the pan, which some games are,
Yeah, where's Kalis?
Yeah, Kalis is gone now.
Kalis is way...
This has definitely legs, and it's been supported
Kalis is
pretty
at
well.
44, but this one came out strong and stayed strong. Agricola.
Number 2, 7 Wonders.
I honestly thought this one was going to be a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
It was number 4 last year, now it's to number 2. And it was number 2 by a strong amount. Now, number 1 almost doubled the votes of number 2. But number 2 had a lot more votes than number 3, and then it kind of evened out as time went by.
Wow.
But I don't know what it is. I mean, I know there's still people in our play group who they'll be like, "Did anyone bring 7 Wonders?" I'll be like, "I'll have brought it," and I'll be like, "I don't think so." Because some people just want to play it all. When this first came out, that's all we played. People are like, "Let's play 7 Wonders."
Well, the thing about it is, when the game first was announced, the artwork came out, people thought, "Oh my god, stunning Civ game." And then people got their hands on it and realized, "Oh wait, it's a 30-minute little card game." Yeah, it's neat. It's, there's some interaction. You can play a group quickly, but it's a simple card game. You have to go into this game knowing that. This is not the next
Well, that's why it's doing so well, though, probably, because it's that simple. It's that easy for people to get into.
But people had a kind of a visceral reaction to that, People thought, oh. And so I was sure that it would kind of wash away.
Yeah,
I'm surprised it's a 2.
Well, the
some of the people are going to be angry about this one.
Well, the expansions came out. They had cities and the leaders and cities.
Yeah, and those are fun.
And you know what? For me, they actually... Leaders was also a whole hum for me, but cities really brought this up for me. I thought cities really added a bit of a bite to it. For one thing, I can hurt other people now, which is...
Right. I like them both. I think I like leaders actually more. Because it gives you a little longer-term planning. I think, but...
In your humble opinion.
Yeah, there you go. Not so humble. But I really like this game. I'm happy to see it on the list, and I am surprised it's this high. But hey, if people enjoy it that much to vote for it that much, excellent.
Number 1, Dominion.
I haven't heard of this one.
This one just buried the competition.
Number 1!
It wasn't even close. And honestly, I thought it might fall this year because in my gaming groups and stuff, it's not being played like it was. For a while, I could see a Dominion game being played by somebody somewhere.
Right.
At every meetup.
Oh,
and every expansion came out. Oh, Prosperity! And even when the latest expansion, Dark Ages, came out, people said, "Oh, okay," and they played it a few times, and then we never saw it again. But I know people like the game, and I like it, but I'm just surprised that it's like standing firm on number one, on the pile, a heap of its dead competitors.
I do think in a few years, once the fury of deck building dies out a little more, this will settle somewhere in the top 10 probably, yeah. I don't know, somewhere between 8 and 12.
I think, though, that this is why the Dice Tower People's Choice Top 100 is a better indicator of games that if you don't know what to buy these games, then the Board Game Geek Top 10.
Right.
There's actually some overlap in them, but there are people who hate Dominion. They hate it. A lot of people. They hate it. Sure. For some reason, they might hate shuffling, or they just hate there's no theme in the game. There really isn't a theme.
That's true.
Or whatever. And they hate it, so they'll rank it 1 on Board Game Geek. And a lot of people will rank these games low, and so it brings the rating down. With the Dice Tower People's Choice, you can only rate games highly, or not at all.
Or not at all, sure.
So only the games that people like to play a lot come. And I mean, this was on this. What we did when people voted in the categories, the one that you gave number 1, we gave a higher amount of votes to, etc. So if a few people voted one game as their number 1 choice, that would do better than 30 people voting for it as their 20th choice.
Yes.
But when I went through and calculated it both ways, the number of votes and the number of points, Dominion won both times easily.
Wow.
So it didn't really matter. It wasn't just a game that a few people liked a lot. It was a game that everybody likes a lot. Yeah. I mean, not everybody, but it's a pretty good bet. And I've had people who I could never get to touch a collectible card game, who I could never get to play a card game, like Race for the Galaxy. There's some people
that's
I bring out Race.
That's an entirely different beast.
But I know, but there are some people I brought Race for the Galaxy out, and they were like my wife, for example. She does not like Race for the Galaxy.
Right.
She did not like all that. But I played this with her, and it was like that.
Right.
She understood this.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Comparison, I never quite got. Those are completely separate.
Well, what I'm saying, though, is I loved Race for the Galaxy, but I had a hard time teaching new people. This one I did not have a hard time teaching people.
Because it's a really simple game.
A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
Action, buy, let's see.
Cards? I don't know what you're
Action.
talking. I've never heard this. ABC.
No. And Dominion, it's you can take one action, you can buy one thing, you can let's see. Oh, C, clear your hand, and then that's that.
Discard is D. No. Draw.
The draw. D is draw.
Whatever.
That's right.
I've never heard this. It's Dominion. People know how to play this. What are you talking about? Anyway, I like Dominion quite a bit. I haven't played it in a while. Longer than Race, actually. But I have more expansions for it, which is the thing. You're like, oh, which one came out? I have to have that. There's potions in it? It's mine.
Dominion, the Catapult expansion.
There you go. That's coming, I'm sure. And they put out promo cards with other games in them, didn't they? Anyway, I don't think this was really a surprise for anybody. You think anybody was surprised?
No, but I think I would be surprised if it was still number 1 in 5 years, but we'll have to see.
Agreed. I don't think it's going to hold on to that spot. I think eventually, how simple this game is.
1 year away. Will Dominion be number 1 next year?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to say yes for 2013, but I'll say 2014 it will be gone from number 1. That's such a bold prediction. Also, the winner of the presidential race.
I think it'll hold on for at least 2 more years. That's my prediction.
All right. Well, that's about it for today. That's about it for our top 100. Go vote.
Right.
We'll be back in a year. Actually, we'll be back sooner than that with our Christmas guide will be coming soon. But don't forget to check out both my top 100, Melody's top 100, and also I've done a conclusion video where I give some thoughts about the whole top 100 process in itself. But we'd like to thank you guys for listening. I'd like to thank Zee for coming on and spouting out about these games.
Thank you.
We'd like to thank Will Wheaton for getting so many games onto the list, apparently.
All right. Thank everybody who watched and commented. We always appreciate that.
I'd like to thank the Catapult in Carcassonne.
Promo cards everywhere.
Yes.
Thank you for making me look for you in places I should not be looking for promo cards.
And Kickstarter, we'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank Spider-Man, because that... okay, well, I'm running out of people to thank. Hi, Mom. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Dice Tower People's Choice Top 100 Games of All Time.